Welcome and hello, everyone. Welcome to our June virtual user group. We've got a lot of great content for you today. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. I have with me today Sachin, Sancheti, and Anita George, who will be your presenters today. A couple of housekeeping, and then we'll begin with some customer resources. So housekeeping, if you have any questions for our presenters during your time with us today, please submit those through the Q&A. Use that feature, and we will make sure that we address those questions. Either Sachin or Anita will happily answer those. This session is being recorded, so you will receive a copy of the recording by tomorrow. It will also be posted on our YouTube channel, and it will also be posted on the IBI.com website under the resource section. So a couple of additional places that you will be able to find the recording, and it will also be sent to you. Following the conclusion of our webinar, there will be a link for a evaluation form. If you wouldn't mind, please take a few moments, fill that out for us. Your feedback is extremely important and valuable. It is how we shape these user groups and make sure that we are scheduling content that you guys want to see. So please take a moment to fill those out. So with that, I am going to share my screen and dive into a couple of slides for you guys, and then I'll turn it over to Sachin and Anita. So as I mentioned, today's user group, we are talking about enhancing ReportCaster. A lot of great things in ReportCaster since the new 9.3. So Sachin and Anita will cover those with you guys. All right, so as you know, back in April, we launched our 9.3, so that is now available. You can check out demos that are out there. You can click this link here. Again, you'll receive a copy of this presentation, so you'll have these links. And go around and play around with the launch and see what features are out there in 9.3. So take advantage of that. We also have our roadshow. We have been promoting this a lot this year. We're very excited about it. If you want to get hands-on training and education with 9.3, join us at one of our roadshows. Our next stop is in Chicago on August 6th. So we are super excited about that. We hope that you are able to join us there and be able to get that hands-on learning. So what can you expect at one of our roadshow series? You get an exclusive look at what's next with the IBI product portfolio. We have breakout sessions, we have hands-on labs, and we have our expert room. So we have our IBI experts on hand. If you would like to set up a meeting with them and have that one-on-one time with them, we will have that available as well. The cool thing about this next Chicago one, we are actually going to be running 2 tracks. We are going to have tracks that cover analytics, and we will have tracks that cover mainframe. So you will have a choice of which type of content you would like to view and attend. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone. The agenda is now live on our website. So if you are curious of what that looks like, please head out to the IBI.com website, look up the Chicago stop, and you can view the agenda there. If you can't meet us in Chicago, maybe you can meet up with us in New York. We will be in New York on October 8th. We hope that you will be able to join us there if you can as well. So those are our next 2 stops for this year. We are in the process of working on 2 Europe stops. So if we have anyone on here from in the Europe area, we are going to have 2 stops coming to you. So be on the lookout on the calendar for those. The new IBI.com website, if you haven't been out there, it's available. We have redesigned it. It is beautiful, thanks to our marketing team. So if you guys want to check it out there, you can go ahead and go visit it. Everything is still there, all of our products and solutions. We have all of our customer stories. You can find all the upcoming events, contact support out there. So make sure that you check out IBI.com. And as I just mentioned, the product documentation, education, support events, all of the virtual user groups and Focus Fridays are on demand out there. So that's where you can view all of those recordings as well. And then we have introduced our new IBI community. We're very excited about this. We heard you guys loud and clear over the last couple of years, and we have moved off of the TIBCO platform. So we are our own standalone community again. This is just IBI customers out there with just talking about IBI products. So if you have not joined the new community yet, I highly encourage you to. It's really starting to build up some steam. We've got a lot of articles being posted, a lot of conversations and threads being posted. The forum is active and ready to go. So please, if you haven't joined, please go out there, sign up, and get involved with the community. As I just mentioned, I guess I'm one slide behind. We have the forums, the Q&A, the knowledge base, and the peer learning out there with the community. Ways to stay connected with us. If you guys have not, if you guys are not receiving our monthly newsletter, please let me know, or you can sign up there with this link at the IBI.com contact us. We want to make sure that you're receiving the monthly newsletter. And then again, as I mentioned, out on the website, you can view all the upcoming virtual and in-person events to keep you informed, so you can register and sign up for those. And then if anyone here is on social, we have our social mediums right here, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Again, this is a new YouTube channel that's not from the old IBI days. So if you're following the old one, we do have a new one. So be sure to subscribe to this one. This is where all the recordings are being posted, as well as some training, kind of little snippets of videos and things like that. And then X and LinkedIn, we are posting out on there as well. So join us and follow us on social. And with that, as I mentioned, after the meeting concludes, you will receive a valuation link. If you wouldn't mind to please fill that out for us. It is greatly appreciated because your feedback matters. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Sachin, and we're going to dive in today with enhancing ReportCaster.
Thank you, Shay. So let me share my screen. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Welcome to WebFOCUS ReportCaster Virtual User Group. I'm Sachin Sancheti. I'm product manager at IBI. I'm in the industry for close to 14 years and with IBI and Cloud Software Group for about 8 years. At IBI, I take care of product management of WebFOCUS, Cloud and Container Edition, and ReportCaster. With me today, I have Anita George. She is lead solution engineer. She is IBI veteran and subject matter expert on ReportCaster. So happy to have her. I'm a bit lesser nervous and excited to have this virtual user group. So with that, we'll get started. So these are standard slides, so I'll skip them. So today, what we'll cover is we'll talk about what is ReportCaster, what are the features of ReportCaster, what's new in latest and greatest 930 WebFOCUS ReportCaster, and then I'll hand it over to Anita to give a detailed demo about those features and use cases of ReportCaster. And then again, I'll take it over and I'll talk about ReportCaster Explorer. And then later we'll have a demo about upcoming ReportCaster Explorer. So with that, I'll get started. So I assume most of us know what is ReportCaster. So I'll just fly by these slides and to allow Anita to have more time on the demo. So what is ReportCaster? So ReportCaster is scheduling and distribution tool. It is component of WebFOCUS, that is business intelligence and analytics platform. As name suggests, this is ReportCaster is used to automate scheduled reports and dashboards generated in WebFOCUS, and you can distribute them as well. There are multiple channels. And to support this automation, we have a multiple sub-tools or a sub-components called schedules, distribution list, access list, report library, and watch list. Anita will cover those tools in her demo session. So what are the key features? So as I said, using ReportCaster, customer can automate distribution. So using schedule dialog, customer can pick and choose the procedure or fix file of which or whose output that needs to be distributed to system or stakeholder or users customers, right? So using that, it can be automated. It has also a very interesting feature called burst report. So using which either complete report or a segmented section of report can be shared with the relevant or designated stakeholders. So that way we can achieve relevant reporting. Only the important part relevant to the related stakeholders will be delivered. How we can deliver? We support multiple channels. We have email, FTP printer, report library, and WebFOCUS repository as well. And how can we deliver? When can we deliver? For that, we have a recurrences tab. There we can deliver. We can schedule this automation daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly basis. And not only that, we have advanced features where we can repeat that every minute, every hour, or we can keep it running for particular time duration. So we have tons of options there. And as this is a complex, we have a centralized management interface for admins where they can configure all of these features. They can monitor what all schedules are running. If there are any failures, they can track, they can view the logs and traces, and they can monitor the performance of the servers, distribution servers, and everything. So that's one-stop solution for admins. So what's new in WebFOCUS 930 ReportCaster, right? So earlier we had a Gen Z ReportCaster. Now we have reskin and we have promoted it to the Gen Alpha. We have all new design for schedules, distribution lists, and access lists. And with that, we have improved user experience, workflows, and we have made it more intuitive. Now, earlier ReportCaster used to open in a different tab, was a separate component, but now this in the latest release, it is integrated in Hub, so it can be operated from the same window, and it has tons of enhanced features as well. So talking about task and distribution, if a particular procedure is picked up and it has default parameters or amper variables, all those parameters will be auto-populated in the task, and customer would be able to see the value against them, and they can edit those values as well. And all this, once these tasks are added, they are shown in the list, all task and distribution. So that list is pretty intuitive. Like their customers can enable disable task rather instead of opening the task and making those changes. They can drag and drop feature to rearrange those tasks and distribution. And there are other features as well. Talking about recurrences, as I said, it's a complex thing. So we have added a one-liner summary at the bottom of our recurrences so that it's clear to users that what recurrences they have set. And then it's as it is complex, we have improved flow of recurrences. So it is more easier to schedule and exactly what they are scheduling. For log report, a very important feature. We have started highlighting any warning or error runs. And earlier we used to get all the list of log reports. Now we have separated in three parts or three tabs. So first one is the last executed. As name suggests, you'll be able to see the latest log report of that particular schedule. Then we have a custom date where users can pick and choose the time range or a date range where they'll see all the runs and they can debug from there. And if customer want to see the all log reports, we'll have a third tab called all. And then further, if they want to analyze in more detail, they can copy logs, they can download so that they can share with the particular user or admin. They can open it in a different tabs to compare the logs, and they can search by the job number as well if they have a particular job number available. For SMTP and FTP configuration. So if once admin configure FTP or SMTP, it is treated as a profile. And when a developer goes to schedule and tries to configure email distribution or a FTP distribution, those profile pop up there. And if developer wants to edit them, they can use a customized profile, and all the details from earlier profiles will populate there, and they can make changes there. Now, as they are making changes runtime, we have introduced feature called test connection so that they can verify their test connection to the SMTP or a FTP server, so that once they are running that execution, there shouldn't be any failures or error because of wrong details or a failure to failure to that particular SMTP or FTP. And for SMTP, along with password, now we have started supporting SMTP as well. And apart from this, like there are other tons of features that we are introducing ReportCaster, but I'll allow Anita to cover that in demo. So with that, I'll stop here and hand it over to Anita. Anita, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin. All right. So WebFOCUS provides a number of ways to share information with users. And Portal is one of them. But Portal is for named users to be able to securely access content that they're authorized to access. ReportCaster offers a way to distribute relevant information to users, including those who do not have access to the portal. For example, your customers or your partners or other external users who may benefit from some of the information that's been created using WebFOCUS. So I have logged into the hub and I have access to a lot of different content that's been created. Let's take a look at one of these reports that was created using the designer tool. This report has one filter criteria for sale date. So if I run this, you notice that I wasn't prompted for a date because it's an optional filter criteria. So what I'd like to do with this report is I would like to schedule this report to run every day and have it, distributed to relevant users or to anyone who wants to see not the summarized view, but daily view of sales. So I've created a schedule for this report, revenue by region, product category. Let's take a look at this particular schedule. So when you select a report and right-click and schedule, the task automatically refers to that particular report. What I've done in this report is, if you recall, it does have a parameter. And as Sachin mentioned, it can take the default parameter when you create the schedule. However, if you want to override the default parameters, you could do that. So in this particular case, I've chosen to override the parameter with a system variable. You'll notice down at the bottom, there's a checkbox. And this allows this tells the schedule that you're actually using a system variable as the value that you're passing for this particular parameter. From a distribution perspective, I've chosen to distribute this to the library. And again, when you choose library, there are different options. In this case, I've chosen to publish it. What that means is any user who has access to this particular workspace could go to the library and view this report that's in the library. Further, I've chosen to only retain 5 versions in the library at any point in time. And for recurrence, this is how often I want to run it. I have this running every week, but I have this running multiple days of the week. So just Monday through Friday. And that's what I want for this particular report. So I want to look at the daily sales Monday through Friday. Because I chose to publish this, here is my library. It's part of the workspace. And if I look at view and versions, you'll notice that I only have 5 versions in the library, the last 5. So the last time this report was run, which is version 23, was on 6/25. And when this report runs, what I did is I also embedded in the heading the run date. So you can see, what the data as of this particular run date. And if the user wants to see a different version in the library, maybe from, say, Friday of last week, you could run that and then view the different version. So in this particular example, I've chosen to distribute this report using the library distribution. However, I made a few changes, one of them being I overrode the default parameter to now include a system variable. In my case, of course, I've chosen to run this on a weekly basis, but you can choose to run this on a monthly or yearly basis as well. We had some new feature requests. Customers had asked us to have the ability to say, run it on the last day of the month or run it a certain number of days before month end. And you notice that option is available if I choose the schedule for a monthly schedule. Now, in this example, what I did is send the entire report to the report library. So it is published report. But in some cases, you may want to send sections of the report to different individuals. And you do that by creating either an access list. An access list is for library distribution only. And an access list has two columns. The first is the burst value. And the second, because this is sent to the library, is the member, or it's one of the named users of the portal. You can do a similar thing for email distribution. The only difference for email distribution is the second column now represents the email address that's going to receive this burst content. Now, both these examples I'm basically selecting one burst value and having just one individual user or email address access it. But bursting is not limited to one-to-one or want to send one value to multiple recipients. This is a slightly different distribution list where I've chosen to use a wildcard. So any report where I have lowercase c as one of the values for my burst criteria, that is being sent to this user ID. And this media player is now being sent to multiple users. So you can do bursting that is one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, or any combination thereof. Let's take a look at how I've used this particular distribution list. So here's a report that I'm running. If someone were to access the portal and they run it, here is the report that they see. This is in HTML format. And this particular report has 7 different product categories. I've got it aggregated both at the product category level and subcategory level. But this report is primarily sorted by the product category. So what I've done for this particular report is I've got, again, a schedule. Let's take a look at the schedule. The task is the report that I selected. And even before I open the task, it tells me that this particular report is being burst. And if I open it, you can see that essentially I check this box, make it a burst report, and therefore I can distribute sections of the report to this distribution list. The other thing that I did for this schedule is I've chosen to override the format for distribution purposes. So when a user runs this by coming to the portal, the output is going to be in HTML. But for distribution purposes, I wanted this to be sent as a PDF document. And for distribution, this time I've chosen the email distribution option. And the distribution list is the one that we looked at, the one with the wildcard. So let's take a look at what happens if I were to run this particular report, because this is doing 2 things. One, it is bursting the report, and it's also at distribution time changing the format of the report that is being distributed. So I've got an email server running in my environment, and here's my inbox, and I can look at the inbox of multiple users. So here is the inbox for this particular user. And you'll notice that this user got 2 different attachments. So the first one, the partition aggregation, has 3 attachments. If I expand that, you'll notice that it's got 3 different PDF documents. The first one showing me the unit sales for accessories, the second one for camcorders, and for video production. The reason I have 3 attachments in this one email is, if you recall, one of my burst criteria or burst value was the wildcard lowercase c. So all 3 of these products have lowercase c in the name of it. And because it is one burst value, I'm getting one email with 3 different attachments. This user was also one of the recipients of the media player burst value. And this attachment now shows me the report for media player. And again, the report that's coming via email is a PDF document. User 2 is getting the partition aggregation, but this is only showing media players. And the user 3 is only getting the report for stereo systems. Okay, so this is how bursting works. And bursting applies again, one-to-one bursting, one-to-many bursting or many-to-one bursting. And when you are scheduling a report, whether it's using bursting capability or not, you have the option of overriding the output format. The next, let's take a slightly, let's look at a very different report. Here I've got a report that shows me the employee vacation listing. Let's see what this report looks like. So this report shows me the by manager, the upcoming vacation begin and end date for the various team members. And when you look at this report, you'll notice that some of the team members have completed the vacation and some have upcoming vacation. So what I wanted to do with this report is, so in this case, if you have applications like Workday or Kronos, when a manager logs in, they can actually see the vacation schedule for their team members, both vacations that have been completed as well as anything that's been scheduled or upcoming vacation. So what I'd like to do is modify this report and notify the managers of any upcoming team member vacation for just the next 2 weeks. So here's my original data, the employee vacation listing. And then I've created a second report, which now shows me upcoming vacation notice. So when I run this, I'm only seeing notices being sent to 2 of the 3 managers. Here's my original report. Manager 1 has, again, 3 members, but this last, the 7/16 is more than 2 weeks out. So this particular manager is not going to be notified of any upcoming vacation, right? So this is upcoming vacation with a filter criteria that identifies vacation notices for the next 14 days only. And if you look at the output of the report, it almost looks like a message that can be included directly in an email. So let's see how I actually created this particular report. Again, using Designer. It's your traditional way of reporting. However, what I've done is I've added some text in the report header and footer, so you can actually see how this particular report looks. So when you open in Designer, you've got your regular, embedded tabular content in the middle, but in the header is where I've embedded the name of the manager with some text, and similarly in the footer I had some text as well. So if you look at the report, it's primarily sorted by the manager name. However, the manager name is not being displayed in the body of the report. And that's important because anytime you want to burst a report, it's always going to be burst on the first sort criteria. But that sort criteria does not have to be visible in the report that's actually being run, but it's one of the hidden fields. So here's my report, and this is what the vacation notice looks like. I could schedule this upcoming vacation notice using ReportCaster and have it run every day. But what I decided to do for this report is create an alert condition. And you notice that this alert report has a different icon. Anytime you see the calendar icon, it represents a schedule. These could represent a tabular report or a document. And then, of course, you can have different visualization. So this alert report, let's take a look at it. The alert condition is, you use InfoAssist to create the alert condition. And I, again, walk you through the aspects of how you create it as well. Alert has 2 components. The first is a test condition. If the test condition is satisfied, then you have a result. So here, this is the report that tests for the condition. Let's take a look at this particular report. So the alert condition is created using InfoAssist. I'm using the same data set that I used to create this employee vacation listing as well as this upcoming vacation notice. But what I'm doing here is I'm creating an alert condition. So the report is pretty simple. All it displays is the ID of the employee and the vacation begin date. But what I've done is I've applied a couple of filters. So I'm only selecting vacation dates, that vacation begin date that falls between these two ranges. And these two ranges are just defined fields that I created. And there's nothing to this define. Simply use the data function, the system variable added +1 or +14. So having, so this report is looking for upcoming vacations within this next 14 days. And only if there is at least one record, that's when the alert condition is actually satisfied. So going back to here, once this condition is satisfied, then I can say, what is the report I want to run as part of the result process? In my case, I've actually chosen to run an existing report, this upcoming vacation notice, this particular report, right? So you can actually create a brand new condition as in the result, or you can actually refer to an existing report. So now that I've created my alert condition, I've then decided to schedule this alert notice. So let's take a look at this particular one. Here is my alert. This is my task. And you'll notice in here, again, I've checked the burst option because the intent is to send individual managers notifications of their upcoming team members' vacation. Okay, so I've checked this burst option. And for distribution, let's cancel that. Okay, there we go. And for distribution, I'm doing an email distribution. But here I decided to do something a little bit different. You can send it to a distribution list, a distribution file, or in this case, I've actually chosen to dynamically create a distribution list from a repository procedure. I'll show you in a little bit how I created this procedure and included that. So I'm creating this dynamic distribution as of the time that I actually want to, schedule this. This is important because team members can move between different groups, have different managers, and therefore you want to notify the correct manager of the upcoming vacation notice for only their team members. So there you go. And for recurrence, I'm running this every once a week on Sundays. So that way the managers can see this notification on either late Sunday night, or they can view this on Monday morning when they log in. So when you create a schedule, you can create time-based schedule. That's what we saw in the previous examples, or you can create an alert-based schedule. So this report will only run if the alert condition is satisfied. And you can see I'm starting to get some messages coming through. So here is the inbox of test user 3. And the test user, the alert report corresponds to the manager, Richard Smith. And here are the 5 members of Richard Smith's team who have upcoming vacation. Test user 2 corresponds to manager Diane Jones, and Diane Jones gets her email. Notice in here, I've actually chosen this report to show up as an inline message. Okay, I didn't have to click any attachments to view the content. It was part of an inline message. So when you create a schedule, let's go back to the schedule here. You can choose to make this as part of an inline message. Okay, so notice inline message, you can have any message you want, which means that the report that you're scheduling shows up as an attachment. But in this case, I've actually chosen as my inline message the report that I'm going to distribute. And that's why I actually created the report that made it look like, the text. So the reports that we saw in the email was basically bursting sections of this larger reports and being sent to the individual managers. I recall many years ago, I had a customer who has actually been who have been using this dynamic distribution list process to create the schedules. It was an insurance company that had both captive agents as well as independent agents. And in their case, the agents tended to move between the different agencies. So when they run the reports to send it to an agency manager, They wanted to make sure that the reports, had the information about all of the agents within that particular agency. So again, event schedules that can be time-based as well as event-based. Now, all of the examples that I've shown so far had only one task. Okay, I was distributing one report. But you can actually have one schedule that can be used to distribute multiple content or multiple components. So when I created any of this, for example, this particular one, and I could select schedule and go to email, it will automatically take the report and make it part of the task. And I mentioned I can show you two things, right? How do I create a dynamic distribution list and how do I create the alert? So click on this plus sign for content, info assist, and this is where you create the alert condition. So once it opens up, you have the option of creating your new report, which is your test criteria. And for result, you have a couple of choices. Again, you can create a new content, or you can refer to an existing report. And that's what I did in my schedule. Or not my schedule, the report that I ran. Let's take a look at how I created this dynamic distribution list. So let's go ahead and edit this procedure. So I'm editing this in Designer, and I'm getting this message. This procedure was modified outside of Designer. And if I continue, some changes may be lost. And I'll explain why I made some changes outside of Designer. So the report that creates this dynamic distribution list is pointing to the exact same master file. But what I'm doing here is, again, notice it is sorted by manager name, but it's not being displayed. And it has two different columns. What is important when you create a dynamic distribution list is the first column should have a title called value, and the second column title should read DEST. That's important. Okay, so, but if I hover over value, you'll notice what is actually being displayed in this column is the manager name, and the DEST column is the email address associated with the manager. Now, I built this report originally using Designer. In Designer, here are your output options. You can output this in one of the formatted outputs like HTML, PDF, PowerPoint, so forth. But you can also have unformatted outputs like CSV, JSON, XML. When you create this distribution list, you do not want on table PC hold format any one of this. You just want to do on table PC hold. So that's why I didn't, once I created this report, I then edited this in text editor. And essentially all I did is anything after PC hold format, that section I removed. So any reference to style sheet was irrelevant because I just needed to do PC hold. So when I run this now, I'm holding the output, and the output has, notice the field name is value, but I'm actually passing the manager name. The second column is field name DEST, but I'm passing the manager email. So when I run this, the file has three unique data points that corresponding to the three different managers that I have in my data set. Okay, so just FYI, when you dynamically create a distribution list that you want to use in a procedure, just make sure it is on table PC hold. The manual talks all about this as well. So far, I've scheduled one report per schedule or one task per schedule. Everything about WebFOCUS is about reusability, right? I mean, you can take one master file and use it to build any number of reports. You can take any report that you have created. Notice I've got lots of reports here. And I can take existing reports to build my dashboards or to build documents. The same concept applies to ReportCaster. What do I mean by that? If I click on the plus sign under ReportCaster, I've got the create schedule option. So here, because I haven't chosen a report and then selected schedule, I can now start to include the various tasks that I want to associate with the schedule. I can schedule a WebFOCUS report. A WebFOCUS report is really a report that's in my repository. I could schedule a server procedure. Notice I can also schedule a WebFOCUS schedule. Here is reusability, right? And then I can schedule files. It's got to be accessible to the distribution server, right? That's the only condition. And if I can access an FTP location, if there's a file out there, I can use that to, as part of the ReportCaster schedule. Again, it could be a URL. So I can build a schedule where I can have one or more components. And in the interest of time, I've built one such package. So let's take a look at this particular schedule. Notice I've got 4 different tasks associated with this one schedule. The first task is an existing WebFOCUS schedule. This is like a summary view, if you will. So you can tell if it's an alert, it's got burst. It's a little misleading. And it's misleading because my task 1 is actually a schedule. So if I open task 1, what I've actually done with this task is, because it's an existing schedule, it's already been set to burst to a particular list. Right? So that's my first task. Then I've got a WebFOCUS report, another WebFOCUS report, and then a file that I'm distributing. So sorry, let's open that one more time. And for distribution, I've chosen the email method. In this case, what I wanted to do was send several reports to one individual. So this is a single email address. But because I've got a lot of different content, I want to send this as a zip file. Now, as part of ReportCaster configuration, there's an option for you to create a plugin so you can actually encrypt and password protect these zip files as well. Now, I didn't turn any of those on, but that is, again, one of the configuration options that is available. So this entire package is going to one email address. And because it's got multiple content, I've chosen to do this as a zip attachment as well. So let's go ahead and run this schedule. So this has multiple tasks going to one individual. And there we go. Okay. Schedule is being run. So while that's running, Sachin mentioned you can actually view logs. You can do last executed, all, custom. And so this job is running. This is just, when I looked at the log, it was just running task 1. If I review this again, the log should now have a lot more information because it's got 4 tasks, right? So there is task 1, which is an existing schedule. Task 2 is a report. Task 3, another report. And task 4 is a file that I'm distributing. There you go. I've got some emails coming into different inboxes. Now, I chose to distribute to one individual. It was to this person. But what I'm seeing is there's reports showing up in other inboxes as well. So here's the first one. This one has only one attachment. And it's saying this is the regional summary report in PDF format. So this was a document that I created. It was a very large document with table of contents. It was dynamically creating a table of content. But I chose to burst this report. This was a schedule that I asked include as task 1. So that original schedule was bursting the report. And this user is only seeing the EMEA section of the report, multiple pages long. It still shows me the table of content, but it's only for the EMEA region. Let's go ahead and look at the inbox of this user. We'll refresh this in a moment to see if this user's got any other report. Test user 2 email inbox has this sales summary. This is the North America PDF. This, again, was the burst, but this user is getting only the North America component of this component document. But this user 2, also got a second email, which contains the report package. Let's think about this for a second. I had one schedule one ReportCaster schedule with multiple tasks, one of which was a schedule. That's why I'm getting it as two different emails, because this was a burst report. And here's the report package. Let's take a look at the package, open it. And there's the package, 3 attachments. The first is, this is a file that I sent, happens to be an infographic. The second one is an Excel report, again, generated by WebFOCUS using the table of content feature. So this is showing me for the North America region, all of the different sub-regions within North America, nicely burst into different Excel worksheets. And then I have the units sold. This is the report that we actually used that had the wildcard. But what I did when I scheduled this is I chose to override this format, and this is now coming as an XML. This is not burst. So the entire report is now being sent in XML format. Okay. Now, a little bit about this scheduling multiple tasks. This agency infographic was something that I created a while back using WebFOCUS. But the key aspect is when you distribute files, you can actually distribute content that was not necessarily created by WebFOCUS. The only thing about when you schedule files is you cannot burst it, okay? Because if it's not something that WebFOCUS generated, you obviously cannot burst. Burst is a runtime option where you are breaking apart a large report into individual components. Okay? So you can create these packages, send to one or more recipients. And when you send these packages, again, you have the option of overriding the output format and or overriding the parameters that some of these reports would accept. There is the sales region report, again, part of the burst. This section of that large document is being sent to another user. This is only information about South America. There are lots more distribution capabilities. I've just highlighted a few of the features and functions. The key aspect is automated distribution, which means you have a schedule. Relevant reporting is all about sending sections to valid individuals. This is where you use the bursting feature. Scheduled delivery could include one or more components, and multi-channel delivery. I just showed you examples for email and library, but I could do this for sending things back to the repository or even to FTP sites. The last thing is centralized management before I turn it over to Sachin. So again, I've logged into the WebFOCUS Hub. I've logged in with administrative privileges, so I can go to the administration console, and I can also look at the ReportCaster administration console. Right there, I can click server status, look at configuration, set some things like blackout dates. This is not new. This is something that we've had for quite a while. I mentioned zip settings. So here you have an option to add the plugin for zip encryption as well as for password, setting up the password for these encrypted files. This is a way for the administrator to control overall some of the profile and settings within ReportCaster. And there's obviously, so I want to close by saying 9.3 wasn't just a facelift of the ReportCaster interface. We have added some features, new features to ReportCaster as well. So let me stop sharing and turn this over now to Sachin to finish up.
Thanks, Anita. That was really insightful and quite detailed. So I'm sure it really helped a couple of questions that were asked and they were well answered. So I'll start sharing and then I'll talk about ReportCaster Explorer now. So as I said, we have another utility or subcomponent of ReportCaster called ReportCaster Explorer. It is interface for heavy ReportCaster users who don't want to use workspaces. They'll use this Explorer where they can filter all the ReportCaster items by type, and then they can see relevant information related to those items, and they can perform relevant actions as well. Like they can run or edit schedules, they can view logs of schedules, they can view edit, access list, distribution list, and they can see multiple versions of library report, watch list, and all of that. So in upcoming release, again, we are promoting this ReportCaster Explorer from Gen Z to Gen Alpha. And what we are doing is we are not only modernizing it, but we are again integrating it in Hub, giving a look and feel of workspaces. And one of the questions was there, like we currently have very limited filters. Do we have option to add more filters? So yes, we are adding more filters there. During demo, I'll cover all of those filters and use cases of those filters. And then this version would also be responsive, like it can be used on mobile, but of course on mobile it will have a limited functionality, like you can run schedules, or you can add to favorite, or you can view other items. So rather than talking about it, I'll prefer to demo or showcase the preview of upcoming ReportCaster Explorer. Before that, I'll show you the older ReportCaster Explorer. So here you can see this is an old ReportCaster Explorer. We used to show all the folders here, and we had hardly 3 filters here. From here, you could select the type filters. You can select the ReportCaster items out of this. This was like a flat view and a folder view, and here you could hide for empty folders, right? Oh, we had only these features. So if I click on a flat view, it will list on all the schedules from that folder and subfolder. And here, if I click right click, I could perform these actions, and we had all this relevant information. So moving to the latest version, upcoming version, this is what workspace looks like. If you want to open ReportCaster Explorer, which is now integrated in Hub, there are 2 options. You can click on this hamburger menu, and you can go to ReportCaster Explorer from here. So it goes to this home, and we have relocated or integrated this ReportCaster Explorer under this Hub home option at the bottom. So you can see this screen is divided into 3 panels. One you can say as a filter panel, which has different filters. Here we have a folder. This is asset where, so we have a folders, and at the bottom we'll have the items within that folder. And at the top we have several buttons. So talking about filters, this is our primary filter. We have again 4 items listed here: schedule, distribution list, access list, and library list. So once you apply, it makes the backend call, and it get all the data. And these other filters that you see, owner, last modified, and more filters here, these are secondary filter. So what do you mean by secondary filters? They are linked to this primary. So as soon as you change this type, you select any other item, your options here will change. We'll talk about that later. So currently for schedule, I'm in a workspaces. So I don't have any items in the workspace folder. I just have folders. So what I can do is I can get rid of empty folders. If I don't want to see folders and only want to see items, I can click show folders, but currently I don't have assets, so I'll keep it there. Other option is there. I can go to the flat view. So in flat view, what it does, it will get me the list of all schedules from that particular folder and subfolders. So this becomes, gets me list of all schedules. This is a list view. This is a tile view. If I want to switch to list view to see more details, I can just click on a click of button. I'll get the list view. Here I'll see all the details as we used to see in the older ReportCaster Explorer, and we have added a couple of columns here, like last job status, last time executed, prior, published, and hidden. Now that we have list, what you can do is if you want to see schedules created by particular users, you can go to owner, you can select whichever user you want to see who created this schedule. So it will show out the result. You can click on this. So we have added this feature as well, tags, right, or chips. So if you close this, it update the results as well. We have a clear, so it will clear. So again, this clear button is only for the secondary filters and not the primary filter. Under last modified, if you want to see what all schedules were created within a month, week, or a quarter, you can do that. So it will get you the list. So in case you want to remove the dormant schedule, you can select the older and you can delete them. Or if you want to see the only active ones for in a particular period, you can do that as well. If you go to more filters, here you can type the or copy the schedule ID and search by schedule ID. Plus, if you want to see like one of the question that what are the next schedule that gonna run today or in this week. So what I can do is I can go to custom date. Here I can select particular day or a week. Let's say select week. So it will give me the list of schedule that gonna run in this week. Here it is sorted by the next runtime as well. So one of the questions was that do we show the process diagram here, right? We don't, but I guess this information would really help to if customers want to plan according to the next runtime. Again, if customer want to debug if if there were any errors or warnings, they can filter with this job last job status. So if you click, I'll get all the list where a particular job was failed or were in a warning state. They can right click and they can view log and they can analyze from here. And as Anita mentioned, we highlight those warning or errors. That way it makes it easier. Then talking about different assets, if you go to distribution list, it will get you the list. And again, depending upon the item, our more filters would be changed or updated. Here, you can filter based on the distribution method type, either email, FTP, or printer. If you go to report library, we have again tons of columns. You can see all the relevant details. And we have under more filters. If particular report library is subscribed, we call it as a watch list. So you can click, so it will give you the list of all watch lists. And if you go to output format, I can see if I want to see only HTML output libraries, then it will give me the list of all the report library whose output format is HTML. As I said, we have introduced new report library here. So if you click on any particular library, we have this view where we list down all the versions of that report library. From here, you can click on any of the version and it will update the view at the top. By default, it will show you the latest. Here, you can right click, you can download them, you can open in different tab, you can delete them as well. And if you want to share with someone else or other your colleagues, you can download from here. So with that, I guess I have covered most of the ReportCaster Explorer that is coming up very soon. I'll keep it for next virtual user group. We will cover other features and other enhancement in that virtual user group. So for now, I'll just stop share, and I guess we are coming to end. If we have any further questions, we can take it up.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Anita. If you guys have any additional questions, please submit them through the Q&A now. Sachin and Anita have been answering a lot of great questions that have been coming through there throughout this presentation. But if you have any last minute ones, please feel free to submit those. We'll give it a minute in case you guys think of anything while we're waiting and seeing if any additional questions come through. Again, thank you so much, Sachin and Anita, for your presentations today. Just as a reminder, everyone, this session was recorded. You will receive a copy of the recording. There will be a link to the evaluation form once we conclude. If you wouldn't mind just staying on and clicking that link for us and filling out the evaluation form. As a reminder, again, Chicago Summit is coming up August 6th. We'd love to see you there. So register if you can. Oh, here is a quick question. Which version of 9.3 has this new interface?
So it was a preview, right? Very soon we are going to have a new release, and in that release we'll have this feature. I was just typing the question.
Sorry, stole that one from you, Sachin. All right. Any other questions? If not, we can give you guys a little bit of time back to your day. Let's see. It doesn't look like any are coming in. All right, guys. Well, we will go ahead and conclude the meeting. Again, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join us. We look forward to seeing you next month in July for our next
question.
Oh, go ahead.
What is the best method to submit an NFR? So you guys can connect to your account executive or support team. We have a support portal. You can raise support case there as well. Let me quickly see if I can have access to support portal. Or you can go to community as well, and there we have all the contacts. So you can reach out there as well.
Thank you, Sachin. Alice, I see your hand is raised, but if you have a question, could you please submit that through the Q&A? Is there a general timeline available for when this will be released, Sachin?
I would say very soon. Very, very soon. So
it's a
just
9.3, right?
9.3.x.
Yeah.
All right.
So what is our support portal? It's support.tipco.com. So there you can reach out to support and request to create NFR.
And it looks like Alice did submit her question there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. We can do that. We do have what do you call parameters, system parameters where you can use like multiple date format, time format that can be appended to report. So yes, absolutely, we can do that. Yes, absolutely, in task tab. So basically, you will have to define the parameter in a parameters tab, and then that parameter can be used in save as input field. I hope that answers, Alice.
All right, last call for questions. Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, guys. Well, if there are no more, thank you again for joining us. And as I was saying before, we'll see you in July for our next virtual user group. Be on the lookout of that topic on the calendar. So with that, we will let you guys go and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks everyone for your time. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.